Welcome on in. It's Trailblazer Game Day with the Fan Sports Network. Caden Formaster here with you on this Saturday afternoon. Excited for the matchup between the Utah Tech Trailblazers and Northern Arizona, the Lumberjacks, as Utah Tech is on the road in Flagstaff, Arizona. Appreciate you joining us today as we are going to dive into looking forward to this game against Northern Arizona and looking back at last week against UC Davis. With one game under our belt, a little more to talk about now that we kind of know what to expect. Some of the guys that really stood out, and of course we're going to be talking about the upcoming game and what to expect. But before we get into all that, I do want to talk back with the UC Davis game. Let's go back to last week and UC Davis coming into town to take on Utah Tech University. Now, the battle that ensued here was just that. It was indeed a battle. So much fun. I feel like if anybody is a Utah Tech Trailblazers fan and you came into this season with a little apprehension based off of what happened last year, you can look at this year and you can say, you know what, if they can play one of the top-ranked FCS teams in the country like that, I feel like we're in for a fun season. And that's how I'm feeling right now. That's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling very hopeful for this year. After this last week, I know it was a loss, but really it just came down to the last few minutes, the last few drives, finishing off the game. And that's going to be something that we'll talk about with Coach Stevens in our Coordinator's Corner coming up here in a bit, is talking about finishing games. So we'll get into that more later. But looking back at this game a little bit, Utah Tech didn't really get off to the hot start that they wanted necessarily. They did trail coming out of the first quarter. It was 7-3. UC Davis had taken the lead. They were able to get that field goal in the first quarter, but it was in the second quarter where they finally felt like they got some things going. And it was Reggie Graff. Bronson Barbin had started the majority of this game with, he started the game, but took the majority of the snaps through the first half of this game. Reggie Graff came in, did some big things, one of those being that touchdown pass to Eric Olson, where you're bringing Reggie Graff into this goal line stance, knowing that he can run the football, right? And I think that's one of the key contributors here to what this offense can do. If you're bringing Reggie in, the defense is going to be thinking, this guy's a guy that's going to run the ball. So if Reggie's not running the ball and he's passing, you're kind of throwing him off a little bit. And that's kind of what they did all last week against UC Davis. Whenever Reggie was throwing the ball, it seemed like it was a little unexpected because they just had a lot of success from it. You look at the touchdown pass to Eric Olson. Obviously, that one was going to be the one that really kick-started this whole thing. And then you look at the first play that they had in the third quarter in the second half. It's a 45-yard touchdown pass from Reggie Graff. Now, I'm not saying that Reggie Graff's going to be the go-to quarterback for the rest of the year. I do think Bronson has his place. I think Reggie has his place. And there's this two-quarterback setup that, in theory, works. And I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see what this dual quarterback situation is going to look like moving forward. There were a few issues, don't get me wrong, some turnovers, especially late in the game turnovers that really didn't help anything, but there's still a lot to be excited about. And we're going to get on into what to expect coming up against Northern Arizona and what to expect maybe coming up through UAC play once the conference really gets rolling here. So we're going to dive into all of that. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to look back at some of our athletes, some of the players on the team here. Devin Dixon caught up with a few of them. We'll get to that when we return from this break. Back here with the Fan Sports Network. It's Caden Formaster with you. Appreciate you joining us here on Trailblazer Game Day. Now, we're going to send it to Devin Dixon. He was able to catch up with a few of our Utah Tech athletes, a few of our players here in this game this afternoon, and talk to them a little bit about their season so far and about a little bit more about them personally. So let's get on into it. Devin Dixon, he was able to catch up with True Tanner and Brevin Chesnicka. So let's get on into it. Here's Devin Dixon.
Brevin Chesnicka with me here. A great game, week one, and we're getting ready to preview NAU, but I want to go back to last week and get your thoughts on, I know it was a loss, but I think you put on a pretty good show for the fans and people kind of saying, okay, Utah Tech might have a little something this year.
No, honestly, I mean, I was surprised about how we came out. I was really excited, though. You know, I think we still got to keep building, though. We got to learn how to finish. There's a lot of things we got to work on. There was a lot of mistakes, but, you know, that comes with just playing week one. But, you know, I'm excited for this next week and excited just to keep playing. I think we got a lot we can prove and a lot that we're going to build on and show a lot of people like what we can do around here.
How's the week of practice been? It's a quick turnaround. You're into week two, but it's got to be so nice to have a game under your belt.
Yeah.
And obviously getting ready to hit somebody else again this Saturday.
Practice has been it's been nice. It's been hot, you know, trying to get acclimated to the weather again because we've been practicing at night. But, you know, it's been nice just to get out here and work again. You know, it's a blessing every day being able to come out here and work and just compete with your brothers every day. You know, leading up to Saturday, it's a blessing.
Well, you're from Phoenix. You should be used to the heat, but it is a little muggy this week.
No, yeah, it is.
But NAU is a lot cooler. You were
yeah.
there and then transferred here. What can you tell us about that experience playing for the Lumberjacks, and what is your thought process now that you're going against them in a Utah Tech jersey this Saturday?
It's going to be weird going back there in a different color jersey, you know. But, you know, honestly, I'm just blessed to be here, you know. In the transfer portal, it's just a lot of, like, you don't really know what's going to happen. I was blessed to have my first 3 years at NAU, got a lot of learning from there and that coaching staff and the coaching staff before the new one and all the players that have been there. You know, it's just been a blessing to meet so many people and just learn and experience and just grow from all the other people. But, you know, I'm excited to go back home, but it's going to be weird.
You going to have a lot of fans in attendance?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm still trying to get tickets and stuff.
Okay. Well, Steve, let's get Brev some tickets here.
No, yeah, for sure.
I need some extra tickets.
I need them.
we can work on that. Walk up Sky Dome, afternoon kickoff. We'll have it live on the Fan Sports Network. Brevin, take me through that Oski you had. The defense played really, really well. And what did the coaching staff say to you guys about, you know, that second half and hanging on to a lead when you guys have built such a nice lead?
I mean, they didn't really say anything. Just said keep playing how we're playing, you know. I mean, it wasn't like we were surprised to be up. You know, we knew we were going to come in here and compete on Saturday. So it was just like, just keep doing what we're doing, we'll be fine. You know, it wasn't anything surprising to us.
The fumble recovery, the interception, take me through that play.
I mean, it was just film study, really. You know, see the formation, you know, that single receiver number 7, you know, that's his favorite route. You know, the H-back in the core. So, you know, that play's coming. They got 2 plays out of it. So it's either that RPO glance or it's a little pop pass thing. So, you know, I saw the RPO and I just said, you know what, if he pulls it, I got to bail. And that's just pretty much what I did.
6 sacks for the defense. That was nice to see, right?
Oh, it was great.
In front of you,
Makes it way easier for us.
You had a better seat than I did for those 6
sacks.
sacks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was nice. It makes it way easier for the DBs. We don't got to cover for long. You know, it's nice.
What can Trailblazer fans expect in this matchup? I mean, NAU played Arizona State fairly tough last week. Covered the spread, and coaching staff's been there now a couple of years trying to rebuild that program.
Yeah, I mean, I just expect it to be a competition, like a competitive game. You know, I mean, I don't really expect anybody just to bend and just fold and just give the other team the win. You know, we both got a game under our belt. You know, the jump from week 1 to week 2 is significant. So, you know, we'll get their best game, they'll get our best game. You know, just how it is what it is.
Any talking back and forth with some old teammates, or has it been pretty quiet around the home front?
It's been quiet. You know, I've just been trying to stay quiet. You know, just work on myself. You know, let them do what they need to do, and we'll see each other on Saturday.
But you have a lot of friends that are still out.
No,
there.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, those dudes are still my brothers. I love all of them still. You know, it's no bad blood between us at all.
I'm just curious, what was the decision? Can you take me through the process? I'm fascinated by the portal. It's obviously such a big part of college sports. What did it come down for you? Just a change of scenery?
I mean, pretty much, yeah. I just needed a fresh start. You know, my first 3 years there, it was like up and down. I was like, I just need to get somewhere else, get some new experience, just go somewhere else, just get some new fresh cleats on, you know. And I was just chose to came here.
Utah Tech's glad to have you.
I appreciate it, man.
Brevin Chesnicka, thanks for stopping by and good luck against the Lumberjacks.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
True Tanner with me here, getting ready for week 2. Utah Tech going out to Flagstaff, Arizona, NAU. And True, thanks for stopping by, man. Give me your assessment of the offense from week 1. I know a hard-fought loss there in week 1 to a good football team in UC Davis.
Yeah, for sure. You know, got to keep the main thing the main thing. You got to do everything right through 4 quarters. So we started off hot. I think everybody saw that. Punched in the mouth early, but you got to maintain and keep your head where it's at and focus like it's always 0-0. And, I think we can finish a lot stronger coming up in this next game.
What was the message the coaching staff gave you guys as you guys broke down the film and got back to work this week, getting ready for week 2?
Yeah, I think just staying level-headed, worrying about your job, not trying to do too much, and just being confident in what we did the first 3 quarters. So I think everybody saw it. We'll be better, and just trying to lock in and finish the whole game. Winning's hard, and we gotta fight.
True, take me through the touchdown. You had a nice touchdown. Always nice to get that Week 1 TD. Take me
Yes,
through that
yes,
play.
sir.
Reggie found you in the end zone.
Yeah, Reggie did a great job. O-line protected up front. Reggie had all day up there. Had a nice double move down there. Reggie put in a good spot and did the rest. Took it home, man.
Is that a play that had worked pretty good in fall camp, or is that the first time you guys had used that in a game, or did you guys use that a lot in scrimmages?
Yeah, it's definitely in the playbook. We get after it. Sometimes it was working throughout practice. Thought we could get a good look, and we did. And so ended up in a score for us. So it was good.
Let's get to know True just a little bit. Tell me a little bit about you growing up. When did you know you wanted to play college football? Where did you go to high school? Tell us all those things.
I grew up football family my whole life. I had 4 brothers play D1 football, and so just growing up, my mom went to BYU. She played volleyball. My sisters played D1 volleyball, and so football. We've been a sports family, but football has really been the main thing. I'm the youngest from Arizona, so it's good to go back home this week, and man, I've been playing this game as long as I can remember. I love it, so it's just a blessing to be out here, really.
Are you from Glendale or Gilbert?
Phoenix.
You're from the Phoenix
area?
area?
Yeah, Phoenix area. Live in Phoenix a little bit, high school in Gilbert, and so, yeah, Gilbert, Arizona,
So
man.
St. George, the weather, you're used to that?
Yeah, I'm used to it, man. It's hot. I don't know if you ever quite get used to it, but we make it do. It's hot, but it's good.
How familiar are you with NAU? What are your thoughts on playing them on a Saturday afternoon? I know 2 years ago it was a shootout.
Yeah.
As an offensive player, you want to shoot out, but your defense
Right.
looked really good in week 1.
Yeah, they did. They played great, and hoping for an offensive game from us and defensive game from them. And so, yeah, looking forward to it. Gonna have some family there. I've been around the NAU campus. We used to have high school 7-on-7 tournaments there, and so excited to get back and play in front of some family and friends.
Any preference on the field turf versus the indoor dome stadium? I mean, no wind going to be affecting any
Right,
passes.
yeah, the weather's always nice in the indoor, comfortable. We'll be ready. Turf, grass, rain, sleet, and snow, we'll be ready.
When you say a lot of family, are we like a dozen? Are we like 2 dozen? Are we like 100?
I'm the seventh kid, so I come from some family. I'll have some siblings there. I don't know. We'll see who wants to come support. I got a good support system. So.
Who's your biggest fan? Who's rocking the jersey?
My mom. That's how I do it for her. So she's my biggest fan. So.
Can she still beat you in a game of volleyball or pick up volleyball games? She's still own you?
Probably. She used to beat me around as a kid in sports. So I just learned to stop testing her.
As the youngest kid, is that an advantage? Sometimes the best athletes are always the
Well,
youngest.
that's what I tell my oldest siblings. I tell them I'm all better than them. They won't hear it now, but they really built me who I am today. So roughing me up paid off a little bit.
All right, let's break that down a little bit further. If you guys went and played 9 holes against your brothers or sisters, or you guys played a game of horse in the backyard at Thanksgiving, who would win?
I'm taking it. We can get the family on here, and they might try and tell you otherwise, but I got faith in me.
Talk to me a little bit about your expectations for the offense this week after breaking down the film study, and give me maybe some keys to the game before I let you go.
Yeah, just doing your job. I think that's something we harp on a lot. Controlling what we can control. I think that's what's great about the game of football. You lean on each other. So everybody just doing their job. I think we want to be explosive, but we want to run the ball. And so just being fine-tuned in all things.
All right, thanks for stopping by.
Appreciate
and good luck against the Lumberjacks, and put on a show for all the families going to be in attendance.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Drew, for stopping by.
Of course.
That was True Tanner and Brevin Chesnecka. Awesome catching up with those guys and hearing a little bit more about them, their personal lives, and it's been really fun to see them on the field. Of course, True Tanner getting one of those touchdowns in the game last week against UC Davis, that big 45-yarder that really put him up in the third quarter. So excited to see what else these guys bring to the table today against NAU. We're not done yet. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it's the Coordinator's Corner, where I catch up with offensive coordinator Greg Stevens. That's next here with the Fan Sports Network. Inside Coordinator's Corner, Coach Greg Stevens. Welcome on in. Hey, it's fun to have you back. You were here with us last year. It's good to see you again.
Good to be back. Good to be back. Football season, so excited, ready to roll.
Now, tell me a little bit about the offseason. This is the first time we've had you here in the studio with us this year. So tell me a little bit about how the offseason went, being a part of recruiting and working the transfer portal and all that stuff. How'd that go for you guys this year?
Yeah, it went good. I think we had a good recruiting class. Our freshmen that we signed have really looked good for us. We've on offense, we've had a couple of freshmen that really look good get injured, which hadn't been good. But I think that the guys that we signed were all good signees and are really going to be good players for us down the road.
So now tell us a little bit about, we've got one game under our belt, the game against UC Davis. I think for a lot of people who follow FCS football as a whole, maybe looked at that game and were a little surprised, because I know a lot of people have put Utah Tech a little further down the poll than everyone else. But you're with these guys day in and day out. When you're out there and you're seeing the work that they're putting in, they came up short, but they gave them a heck of a fight. Tell me what it's like from your perspective to be like, hey, no, this is who we are.
Yeah, it didn't surprise me at all that we was able to be in the game. And actually, we should have won the game. We felt like, we had them up 24-7 in the second half. And, we just got to learn to finish people and how hard it is to win football games. And so we got to do a better job of executing for 4 quarters and doing the things we have to do to find a way to win games. But our guys, in the off season, the difference from this year to last year, not only, the mental part of it, but working out in the weight room, our guys have changed their bodies and a lot better shape. And, when we go out there on the field, we expect to win. And, we felt that way going into the game against UC Davis, that we could, we expected to win and give them a good game, and we did that. We just didn't find a way to finish.
Yeah, that's understandable, right? I definitely feel like, like you mentioned, going up 24-7, I think there was a lot of good things that came from that. And as being on the coaching side that you are, I'm sure you guys are more looking at the mistakes of how can we do better, how can we improve, which you are going to have some of those as well. So with that said, what are some of the things that you guys learned from last week that you're going to take into this next week against Northern Arizona?
Well, the biggest thing is offensively is we can't turn the ball over. The 4 turnovers really hurt us. And we got to take care of the football, number one. And then the biggest thing is we just got to be more consistent. We played pretty solid through the first half, and early in the second half, we put 2 touchdowns in our first 3 drives. And then we started seeing mental mistakes and busts and those type of things, and that can't happen. We got to learn how to play for 4 quarters.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it, right? Turnovers, keeping those at a minimum. Unless you're talking about your defense, you want to keep those ones high, right?
Yeah, no doubt. But offensively, we got to eliminate those. And then, we had 4 3-and-outs in the game, and 3 of those, 2 of them, we had a bad snap. The center snapped it early. One we had a false start, and then the other one we had Reggie ran a quarterback draw, and we had a 12-yard gain, and we had a holding call, which put us behind the sticks. And so if we can eliminate those mistakes, then we can eliminate some of those 3-and-outs and possibly, put some more drives together.
Now, there's some big plays. I think we could look back at that touchdown pass from Reggie. He was in a quarterback at the time. That was a 45-yard pass to get things rolling there, and I believe it was just the first drive of the second half, right?
First play,
tell me about some of those big plays and what it's like when you're, there's so much that goes into drawing up the right play at the right time. Tell me what that play was like from your perspective, making sure that you're drawing that one up at the right time.
Yeah. Well, we'd used Reggie, in the first half, to use his athleticism and stuff to do some things, and was running some zone option, and we gave him that same look. We saw how they were playing us, and we gave him that same look, and was able to take advantage of how they were playing us and isolate, True out there one-on-one with the corner and max protect and take a shot, and it ended up working out great for us.
Do you, when you're on the sidelines, or are you up in the box? Are you in the box?
I'm in the box.
Yeah, because you're getting that bird's eye view, right?
Yeah.
And especially of the defense, maybe it's a little easier to see what defensive schemes they're at when you get that higher view. Are you sending down to the sidelines, hey, this looks good, keep this play in mind, or when it comes to audibles and stuff like that, is that something that you let the quarterback take care of? How does that kind of work out for you guys?
Well, so now this year is the first year in FCS. FBS has been able to do it. I think, for a couple of years, that we have communication with the quarterback. And so that's why I'm up in the box too. Is you can see better and see what's going on a lot better than you can on the sideline. And two, now I can communicate with the quarterback up till 15 seconds or when the ball's snapped. And so
Gotcha.
We can help them out. But they do have, we could two-play call some things or they have some checks. But the good thing is Bronson and Reggie was both in our system last year, and they both really improved, had good off seasons, and so I'm expecting them to even improve and get better this week.
Now, I've had a lot of people ask me this question, so I'm going to then in turn now ask you. I've had a lot of people ask me, tell me what you see from the quarterback position, because you've got Bronson and you've got Reggie. Mm-hmm. What can you tell me about him? And I always just say Bronson is your stereotypical what you expect a quarterback to be, and then I said Reggie's more of what the future of quarterbacks is becoming, someone who can throw the ball but is still really mobile. Bronson, solid pocket passer. He's got that strong presence. So to ask you that question, what kind of quarterbacks are they?
Well, similar to that, Bronson's a bigger kid, probably more of a drop back, pro style quarterback, but he's more athletic than you think. Where Reggie, he's at his best when he's using his feet and he's on the move, those type of things. But it was a real good competition with those two, through the spring and fall camp, and we're expecting, every game we'll have, if Bronson's starting, we'll have a package for Reggie every game, and they're both going to help our team win games this year.
Absolutely. Okay, well, you got Northern Arizona coming on up. You've been scouting them out. They had that first game against, you could maybe call it an in-state rival, but against a bigger FBS school.
Yeah.
What are you seeing from them coming up for this week?
I mean, they're a solid team. They're a playoff team last year. Defensively, they cause a lot of problems because they do a lot of different things. They bring a lot of pressures, and so we got to be able to handle their pressures and movements. And if we'll do that, I think we can be very, very successful offensively. But they're a real good football team, and we expect a great contest from them.
Do you feel like the offensive line has taken a step up from last year, just from the looks of from the UC Davis game? I would maybe say yes, but what are your thoughts on your offensive line this year?
Yeah, they I think we're better than we were last year. The thing that people don't like, we're starting 3 freshmen, though, so we're still young and we're going to make some mistakes, but our guys played good. They played hard. We didn't give up a sack last week, and that's not just all the O-line, too. Our backs and tight ends did a good job blocking. Our quarterbacks did a good job of getting back and getting through the reads and getting rid of the ball on time. And so, that takes all 11 people. But I'm really excited about our offensive line and the direction we're headed.
Yeah. From the fan perspective, I think there is a lot of excitement now after you get that one game put away under your belt, and with how tough that you guys played against UC Davis. Again, a game that it feels like maybe you should have won it, right? And I think the fans can probably feel that way as well. In the third quarter, I'm watching the game and it's 24-7. I definitely feel for you on that one. It was definitely a tough loss and a tough break, but I sit there with a lot of excitement, and I hope you guys do too, because it's made me really pumped for this season. So best of luck against Northern Arizona.
Really appreciate it. We were real excited about the game, and even with the mistakes that we'd made and stuff, we had a chance with the last drive to go down and win, and we drove the ball down, I think, to like the 30-yard line before we threw that interception. But if we finish that drive, we got a chance to win the game, and hopefully, usually from a coaching standpoint, you make probably your biggest stride from that first to second game, and hopefully we can do that and play better this week.
I'm excited. Northern Arizona coming on up shortly. It's going to be fun. So let's get on down to Flagstaff, huh?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go Trailblazers.
Love it. Go Trailblazers. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Appreciate it.
That was Coach Greg Stevens with the Coordinator's Corner, and we appreciate him joining us and, of course, learning a little bit more about what his position is, what he does with the offensive side of the ball. It's a lot of fun to catch up with him. We are not done yet. We are going to be sending things out to Rod Zundel, who is at Northern Arizona University. Going to be sending things out to him in just a moment. This game going to be kicking off here shortly for the 4th ever matchup between the Trailblazers and the Lumberjacks. I've been Caden Formaster. Appreciate you joining us here inside Trailblazer Game Day. Now, let's send it out to Rod Zundel, voice of the Trailblazers, and we'll see you next time.
Hey, win on me. 1, 2, 3.
How about that? Touchdown, Trailblazers. Touchdown, Trailblazers.
Welcome to Trailblazer Kickoff, presented by Camping World of St. George. Your next great outdoor adventure begins under the big American flag.
Let's go!
We're in Flagstaff, Arizona, as the Trailblazers look to bounce back after last week's hard-fought 7-point loss to 5th-ranked UC Davis.
Touchdown, Trailblazers.
We're playing some indoor football. Trailblazers, Lumberjacks, 30 minutes to kick.
And hi there, everybody. Welcome inside the Walk-Up Sky Dome here in Flagstaff, Arizona. We are counting you down until kickoff. A matinee matchup of Utah Tech and Northern Arizona. Hi there, everybody. Rod Zundel here. Glad to have you aboard for this matchup of future Big Sky opponents. This is the second of 3 straight future Big Sky opponents for Utah Tech. Last week, of course, UC Davis to open things up in St. George, and then here in Flagstaff. Next week, we'll be in Moscow, Idaho, take on the Idaho Vandals. 3 straight future Big Sky opponents. And right now, the Trailblazers are 1-18 overall against Big Sky opponents. Their only win against a Big Sky foe was 2 years ago here in Walk-Up Sky Dome in Flagstaff. The Trailblazers beat Northern Arizona 50-36 in that game 2 years ago here on this turf. Trailblazers forced 5 turnovers, and they scored 2 defensive touchdowns into the big blowout win. But this is the 4th meeting between these two schools, and Utah Tech trails in the series 2-1, including last year, Utah Tech losing to Northern Arizona 45-17 in St. George. And Utah Tech in that game in St. George a year ago gave up 339 yards rushing to this Northern Arizona team, but it is a different Utah Tech defense. So hopefully last week just wasn't a fluke, and they are going to have their work cut out for them. It is going to be a major challenge for the Trailblazers to stop a NAU offense that wants to pound the ball and get after it on the ground. So last week Utah Tech opened up the season against now number 5 UC Davis. Bronson Barbin got the start at quarterback. Reggie Graff came in, hit Eric Olson for a touchdown. Olson had 6 receptions, 46 yards, and a touch. And then Reggie would hit True Tanner on a 45-yard touchdown. Trailblazers had a 17-point lead against UC Davis. Bronson Barbin, after UC Davis scored 24 straight to take 7-point lead, hit Eric Olson. Barbin had 222 yards passing, but he had 2 costly interceptions on throws that he'd like to have back, including the one to end the drive to end the game. Dom Oliver, the true freshman from Las Vegas, they said he had a good camp, and boy, did he ever. He proved it last week. 5 catches, 50 yards. Defense, they had 6 sacks on the Davis double threat quarterback. Dallin Havea, the BYU transfer, had 2 sacks of his own. Trailblazers only allowed 164 yards rushing, 272 yards a game rushing last year, so much improved on the Trailblazer defense. How about true freshman Dalen Love? He led the way with 10 tackles. So the Trailblazers looking to have another good performance by the defense, because this Northern Arizona Lumberjack team, they love to get after it on the ground. Now, the Northern Arizona Lumberjacks, they are also 0-1. They played at Arizona State last Saturday night. Now, the Sun Devils ranked 11th in the country in the FBS rankings, and so a tough task. And Northern Arizona gave up over 200 yards rushing to the Sun Devils. They gave up 2 touchdowns on the first 2 drives to Arizona State, but then the next 5 drives only allowed 67 total yards to Arizona State. Quarterback Ty Pennington, 204 yards and a touchdown. Lumberjacks, they want to run the ball. They only ran for 89 yards against that Arizona State defense last week. So they, this week, are saying we want to go crazy on the ground. Ty Pennington, though, not a dual threat like last week with Pinnock, UC Davis, but he is very mobile and he can throw on the run, and he has been a 2-year starter on this team, so he knows this offense, and he is the leader of this Northern Arizona football team. So last year, as I mentioned, 339 yards rushing for the Lumberjacks against the Trailblazers. Darvon Hubbard had 139 yards rushing and a touchdown a year ago, but he's not even starting this year. Seth Cromwell is getting the start in his place, so that's how much they think of their running back core when a guy that piled up a bunch of yards on the ground can't even crack the starting lineup here. So Trailblazers defense have their work cut out for them, and Brian Wright is in his second season as head coach in Northern Arizona, and with the way Utah Tech played last week against UC Davis, he's not taking the Trailblazers lightly whatsoever.
Yeah, well, they certainly got our attention from that, and as did the end of their last season. They started playing some pretty good football. They played better at the end of the year than they played at the beginning of the year a year ago, and to go toe-to-toe with UC Davis like that, where UC Davis had to score 24 unanswered, I believe it was, to win at the end, certainly got our attention. They're doing some different things on offense that can cause you some problems, and they've really, stepped up their pressure on defense that cause you problems on offense. So they have our full attention for sure.
Yeah, the Trailblazer definitely got the attention of the Lumberjacks coaching staff. Utah Tech had their warm-ups, and now they're headed back into the locker room for final preparations as we are about 25 minutes away from kickoff here in Flagstaff, Arizona. As we talked about, Utah Tech built a 17-point lead last week against now 5th-ranked UC Davis, and then the Aggies scored 24 straight points, and then ending up beating the Trailblazers by 7. But a good showing by Utah Tech. It gives hope for what the future brings to this Trailblazer football team. Time now to take a look back at the sights and sounds of opening night last week in St. George against UC Davis.
It is time for some college football. The season and home opener for Utah Tech as they welcome into Greater Zion Stadium the 7th-ranked UC Davis Aggies. College football fans, we are underway in 2025. Pinnock loses one guy. Ball on the ground. Trailblazers pick it up, and they get the first break on the turnover. Here comes the pressure. Can't get away from that's Dallin Havea. Goes down. Dallin Havea. Grab to the right. Out the flat. Caught. Touchdown, Trailblazers. Reggie Grab to Eric Olson. Utah Tech takes the lead. Picked off. Brevin Chesnicka, the transfer from NAU, with the interception. Reggie Graff in a quarterback. The lefties. Got a man. Drew Tanner. 5. Touchdown. Trailblazers. And they get him in the backfield. Inside the 20-yard line. Will Alaveo. Big loss. Touchdown, Chris Street. Pinnock goes down. Trailblazers get him again. They got him again. The 5th sack of the night by the Trailblazer defense. Marley, what a game to start the college football season. Yes, sir.
Now, when you look at the numbers from last week, if you'd have told the coaching staff and anybody with a Trailblazer football program that they'd have these numbers, they would have taken it. So Utah Tech had 353 yards of total offense, and they were 3 for 3 in the red zone, 2 touchdowns and a field goal. They were 7 for 16 in third down conversions. That's just under 50%. Last year, they were only about 25% in third down conversions. They were 0 for 2 in fourth down conversions, though. And again, between the two running backs, Chapman and Street, they only had 28 yards rushing. Quarterbacks led the way, but some pretty good numbers to build upon here as they take on number 19th ranked Northern Arizona here in Flagstaff. We are counting down the moments until kickoff, about 22 minutes away. The Lumberjack Marching Band out on the field now as they have a tradition here on the first home game. They have a running of the freshmen. So in a moment, the freshmen, they'll open up the tunnel doors outside, and all the freshmen will come running out on the field. But right now, the Lumberjack marching band out on the field to get us ready for kickoff.
If you haven't seen Utah Tech University lately, chances are you haven't seen it at all. With hands-on polytechnic learning across 300 academic programs, 30 new and renovated state-of-the-art facilities, the most affordable university tuition in the state, and 300 days of sunshine. Why look anywhere else? Discover why Utah Tech was recently named one of Education Magazine's 10 prominent universities and colleges to watch. Join us and experience the active learning, active life difference at Utah Tech.
Just under 21 minutes away from kickoff, Utah Tech and 19th ranked Northern Arizona, the Lumberjack marching band out on the field right now. So in that opener last Saturday in St. George against UC Davis, special teams played a big part for Utah Tech. Ilya Uvedov, field goal kicker, 33-yard field goal attempt was good and his only attempt of the game. And then field goal block team, Brandon Jackson, a redshirt freshman from Dallas, got a big old paw up and blocked a field goal attempt from UC Davis. Time now to follow Brandon Jackson into the weight room in this edition of Mic'd Up.
Coach, you allowed this?
He the reason. They tried to mic him up. He gonna make them mic me up.
Our recovery serious. Lock in. Make sure we're feeling good by the end of the session. All right, get a break. Get to your spots. Where's my DJ?
Okay, work on 2, 1, 2. Work. It's gonna be a long day. We need to tell Brooklyn, get somebody to put some Powerade in our refrigerators. You hear that?
Dig into that calf muscle.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you know, the Zach Brown man?
Yeah.
He was like falling in love and she walking away.
The only Zach Brown song I can think of is Chicken Fried.
On a Friday night, a pair of jeans will fit just right, and the radio. I forgot I was mic'd up. Okay, 2 cheeseburgers.
From where?
McDonald's.
Oh, you like the doubles there?
2 cheeseburgers.
Oh, 2 cheeseburgers, all right.
2 McChickens.
Okay. That's like what, like $8?
Medium fry.
Man, it's starting to get up there.
Large Sprite. The ones 10 nuggets.
And the free ice cream cone shit.
And free ice cream because I got reward points. All right. Nice. I just want to mingle with you, lady. Y'all know that song?
Oh, maybe.
I don't know where my shoes at.
What?
I've been thinking about McDonald's since this morning.
Close your eyes. Relax. All right, 8 minutes. Then we can slowly get up. We got plenty of time in here. All right. Find your space.
Well, I guess y'all finna watch me sleep.
The finish of our national anthem by the Northern Arizona Lumberjack Marching Band as we count down the moments till kickoff. 18 minutes away from the first road game of the season for Utah Tech. So the Trailblazers did a lot of good things in the opener against UC Davis. They had a chance to win it, just could not finish, and that's been one of the things that head coach Lance Anderson wanted to get ingrained into these guys, especially from the last 5 games from a year ago. They had opportunities to win the game, but they just couldn't finish drives and couldn't finish the deal. He still is trying to get that across. They had a chance. They just didn't finish. And so a lot of good things happened, and now let's go to the film room, and head coach Lance Anderson kind of takes us through and breaks us down what went well for the Trailblazers in the opener Saturday night.
All right, I want to start with one of our defensive plays from early in the football game. It was a play that set the tone for maybe the rest of the first half and really allowed us to start to play with some confidence. This particular play is a blitz where we're going to bring the safety from the field and the outside linebacker from the field. Now, as we watch this play, one of the first things I want to focus on is our coverage here into the boundary, because you'll see the quarterback, I mean, his first look is into the boundary. That's where he's trying to go with the football, and we do a really good job with our coverage into the boundary, and that allows us to get to the quarterback with some pressure. So as we let this play, you'll see the blitz from the field with our outside linebacker and safety both coming free. Now I want to point out just a few of those things in coverage that I mentioned. So if I stop it here, you'll see we've got our outside linebacker, Moon Ashby, here, doing a really good job in coverage on the running back on a wheel route out of the backfield. Dalen Love, our freshman inside linebacker, doing a great job of matching up in coverage with a wide receiver. And then Devin Perkins doing an outstanding job here in coverage as well. So as the quarterback tries to look into the boundary, all three of these options are taken away, and that allows the pressure to get to him. Fumbles the ball, and Cody Carlson picks it up. All right, I've got an offensive play, which is actually our first play in the second half. Here, we're running the exact same formation we ran in the first half with this personnel group, where we ran like a zone read option type play with Reggie, where Reggie has the ability to give this to the running back here, or he can carry it out and keep it here, or he has a pitch phase here for the option. So we lined up in the exact same formation, same personnel, hoping that UC Davis will expect us to run the same play. And here we got what we wanted. You can see they've got their whole entire defense within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. We've got a reduced or cut split by our receiver, so our corner has outside leverage here, and we've got everyone else near the line of scrimmage expecting us to run the football again with Reggie in the game. We begin the play with that same action as the run plays in the first half, where Reggie has the ability, it looks like, to give it here. He can keep it, or he can pitch it. But this time, instead of the run play, we've got a play action pass. We're now the receiver. We get exactly the leverage we hoped for with outside leverage. True Tanner makes a double move. Here where he works to the outside, and now he's going to work back to the inside to the post. He gets the corner turned around here, and we get exactly the result that we wanted. Reggie makes a great throw. True makes a great catch. And then in addition to that, True makes one guy miss and takes it into the end zone for a touchdown. I mean, no better way there to start the second half than that touchdown. And it was set up well by what we did in the first half, then coming back in the second half with that same look and then throwing the ball off of that exact look.
All right, good stuff from head coach Lance Anderson. Hope you learn something. I learn something every time he takes us into the film room for the film session. So, hey, we're counting down the moments till kickoff. Utah Tech and 19th ranked NAU, just under 14 minutes away from kick. And now a tradition here at Northern Arizona, the freshman run on the home game, the first home game of the season. And they also have someone rappelling from the stadium. An Army rappel and presentation of the game ball. So we're waiting for a member of the Army to rappel from the rafters, and then they'll have the running of the freshmen. So there it is in the presentation of the game ball. And now they're going to have the running of the freshmen here in Flagstaff, Arizona. We'll take a quick break and be back with more on Trailblazer Kickoff here from Flagstaff, Arizona.
Coach, you allowed this?
He the reason. They tried to mic him up. He gonna make them mic me up.
Our recovery serious. Lock in. Make sure we're feeling good by the end of the session. All right, get a break. Get to your spots.
Okay, work on 2, 1, 2. Work. It's gonna be a long day. I think we need to tell Brooklyn, get somebody to put some Powerade in our refrigerators. You hear that?
Dig into that calf muscle.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you know.
And here comes the freshman run. Annual tradition here in northern Arizona on the opening home game of the season. As we approach 11 minutes until kickoff, Utah Tech and the 19th ranked Northern Arizona Lumberjacks. Rod Zundel back here, getting you ready for kickoff. Trailblazer trying to break into the win column for the first time after a tough, hard-fought 7-point loss last week in the opener. Time now to get acquainted with a guy that we knew a couple of years ago, Devin Perkins. He had 7 tackles in the opener on Saturday. Now, he spent his first couple of years here at Utah Tech, and then he transferred to that school about 50 miles to the north up I-15. But this year, after 1 year there, he came back home, and he's loving life. Time for Trailblazer Tales and get to know Devin Perkins, defensive back for Utah Tech, just a little bit better.
Hello, my name is Devin Perkins. I'm a defensive back here at Utah Tech University. I'm in my senior year, so my redshirt senior year. I was born and raised in Las Vegas High School. Played football and ran track. I ended up running track my sophomore year of high school, and I was able to win state. That really helped me with my football career. First conversation with my first coach here at Utah Tech, he hit me up on Twitter and asked me about my track time. So this Utah Tech was my first Division I offer out of high school, my only Division I offer out of high school, so I was blessed with that. Through high school, I met my now wife, and we have 2 beautiful children, Malaya and Camden. My mom, who lives back home in Vegas, and my 3 younger sisters. Fun fact about me is I like to play games. I like playing a lot of 2K, NCAA. I like just playing that type of stuff. When it comes to family, I just like being with family. We like eating a lot, me and my wife, so she might hate me for that, but yeah. That's pretty much all I have.
Now, Perk did a great job in the opener against UC Davis at his cornerback position when they tried to throw the bubble screens, the short tosses to the receivers on the outside. He did not let them get past his tackle and get any extra yardage. And then also when they tried to run off tackle and to the outside, he was sure solid tackling. And they're going to need that same kind of performance from Perkins this afternoon, because Northern Arizona, their backs are bigger than UC Davis. They like to pound the ball more. So not only Perkins, but everybody on this defensive side is going to have to make sure solid tackles and not allow the running backs from Northern Arizona to get any added yardage after the hit. So what can we expect? What does Coach Lance Anderson think about last week and about this upcoming game here? Well, here we go. Time for the final word with head coach Lance Anderson.
Coach, you've had a week now to look at the tape, digest what happened last Saturday in the opener. Any different thoughts?
No, just still. I mean, it's great to be able to put ourselves in that position with a 17-point lead in the third quarter. It is extremely disappointing not to be able to finish. So we are still a young football team that is learning, but we got to take a lot from that experience, be able to apply it on Saturday, because we face a really good team in Northern Arizona.
Got a man, Drew Tanner, 5 touchdown.
So what's been your message this week?
Just continuing to fight, being able to finish, and just playing football for the love of the game, not too overwhelmed or, consumed with what the outcome's going to be, but just playing football and staying in the moment.
Were you looking this week at any personnel changes or just better execution and finishing?
We're at this point, it's more just better execution. Again, we've graded the film, and those guys that played well are going to get more opportunities. But overall, it's just about playing harder and playing with better execution.
Okay, so what is the one thing that you want to see out of your team on Saturday in Flagstaff that maybe you didn't see enough of last week?
I really want to see us compete start to finish. Not just when things are going well. We need to compete start to finish. This is a really good football team. It's going to be a battle for us to stay in this game. But if we can compete from start to finish and stay in this football game, I will be happy with that.
Trailblazers get him again. They got him again. The 5th sack of the night.
So what is it about Northern Arizona that you've been really concentrating on this week?
It's just we've really got to be sound in everything that we do in every phase because of their just aggressive mentality. I mean, they're searching for big plays. They're searching for negative plays defensively, offensively. They want big plays, big chunk yards. So we've got to be sound in everything that we do. They're very aggressive on special teams as well.
Hearing from them this week, they weren't too happy with under 100 yards rushing against Arizona State, and they want to prove something against your defense.
Touchdown, Northern Arizona.
It's something they're really good at. That's what you look at the games that they win, and they rush for well over 200 yards a game. The games they've lost, I mean, they're down in that 100-yard range, so I'm sure they're not happy with that last week because they really put an emphasis on running the football, and it's something they're really good at.
All right, that was head coach Lance Anderson with the final word before kickoff. We are counting down under 6 minutes away from kickoff. You can hear this game right here on the Fan Sports Radio Network. And don't forget, immediately following, we'll have the Trailblazer post-game show on the Fan and also here on Trailblazer Sports Vision. So, Trailblazers got to stop the run, and they've got to develop a little bit of a running game, more of a threat anyway, than they did last year. It's the Trailblazers and the 19th ranked Northern Arizona Lumberjacks coming up next on the Fan Sports Radio Network.